What about my sweat equity?
Sweat equity. Sweat equity.
My sweat equity. My sweat equity. What about my sweat equity?
Hotty toddy.
Off to a horrible start. Great.
God Almighty. Wow. That probably just gave someone was driving and listening to this.
And next podcast, move it right on past this shit.
I don't know. I love that intro, guys.
That nice genteel voice you're hearing is Serena Faison.
Hello.
SerenaFaisonNews.com and Trailblazer Podcast. Recording out of the Sweat Equity or Sweat Lodge studio where we do.
Is this your first day? Jeez.
Jesus Christ. Give me some
my
Lou
goodness.
Brown.
Sweat
Eric,
Lodge
on
Podcast
now.
Studio.
Give me
What?
There you
It's
go.
the shades. He's got shades on.
I'm wearing my shades
Can't
just to
read
look
his
like an
notes.
asshole for no reason. That other voice you're hearing, that giggle, that was just there is a Canadian power attorney, but an American power attorney, I should say, from Canada, an import that we like in this country, Mr. Steve Fantetti. Wait, hold on. I got to do it like we did with the old podcast. He hates it. Mr. Steve Confetti Fantetti.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll just press this the whole time.
Great intro. Appreciate you, man.
I had to give him.
The Lord's Day law. Let's do better.
The Lord.
It's every day, right?
Yeah.
The
It's
days
Monday,
that
right?
end in day. It's the Lord's Day.
Very well said.
Yeah, I'm Jewish anyway, so
Oh.
Every day.
Friday's my day. I just want to be Jewish.
All right, I won't do it. I'll stop.
All right, so we've got you. Your dollar per hour is very high. Your billable rate. So
Not for you, Law.
business attorney questions, basic ones. Serena was in here working on her podcast and doing some post production, and we figured just come on. You've been on the podcast before. Why not
I
just
love
be
your
a-
podcast.
Thank you.
Oh, thank
No,
you.
seriously, you guys, it's great information.
If you want to go on iTunes, if you're listening, watching this, go
Yes.
on iTunes, give us a review, give us a 5-star rating, and subscribe. That's a cheat code to get us up the rankings. And Eric and I still throw that out there.
Give me money.
If you, if you,
Money me. Money now. Me, money needing.
I'm going to push them all. I'm going to push every button I got
Do you think
today.
they're giving us a hint?
if you do that and send us a screen grab of you doing that review, Eric and I will both go back and give you a review of your brand, your business, whatever online. That's what we call 69ing B2B,
Yes.
right? That's our new
We're
motion.
just going with it. No matter what I say, that's what we're going with.
Look, help the friends, businesses that help you out. So we call it 69ing business to business, right?
Reciprocity.
Is exactly.
I don't know what else to say.
I'm
You
glad
got-
you said something
I know,
because
right?
Both of y'all are.
I'm a little speechless
I
on that
know.
one. So
What's wrong with
You
that?
did stop short
I was
of
like,
any
I'll
sort
step
of
up. I can tell
other
you, like,
acronyms that
formulated
could
something.
go
I
easily
didn't-
with it.
Yeah, girthy ROI hashtag,
Mhm.
and then hashtag sweat equity. That's all I need.
Okey.
All right, so you were asking questions. We're like, save it for the pod, Serena, and so
yes, I have many.
throw some out there for Mr. Fantetti.
Well, firstly, can you give us your specialty? Because I think people need to know. Or what? I mean, you do so many things, and you don't even look
Sure.
old enough.
She's a better.
to be honest
she's
with
a better
you.
interviewer.
No,
I know.
seriously.
Can you do
I
the
mean,
interview
all,
part?
I can tell
all
Can
already.
you do the real parts of
Oh
this
my
podcast?
gosh! All your, all your areas of law.
Yeah, no. I practice mostly in the corporate business area, but I'll do a lot of mergers and acquisitions and a lot of contract negotiations for buying or selling goods or other types of things. There's one I worked this week. My client is a business where he sells construction equipment to the Middle East, and we had a hiccup with a deal with that, so we were handling with that. So I'll do things like that, and then also I engage in a lot of employment labor aspects of the law. A lot of people who might be wrongfully terminated, or basically the proper methods for big companies to mass hire people from different parts of the world, or even the U.S. labor laws and things like that.
So for
Non-compete
instance,
agreements.
here's a piece of pragmatic advice. People think having an intern, right,
Yep.
is free labor. Except if you don't have a college credit attached to that,
Mhm.
right? If there's nothing there for a college intern, then you need to pay them.
Yeah,
right?
then it's slavery,
Well-
and you're gonna go
Well,
to
no,
jail.
people think they can have a free intern. There's some very
You can have a
guidelines.
free intern, but yeah, there's got to be a lot of conditions attached
Right.
to it if it's free.
So we're speaking to the crowd that listens to this that maybe
Mhm.
does their own business on the side or is
Yeah.
trying to do their own thing, and
Yeah.
everybody thinks of interns as, well, I can get free labor. Doesn't matter about the
Well,
college
the point of being
credit.
an intern is to provide a free service.
Right,
But
right.
the question is, what are the limitations?
It gets sketchy if it's
on
like
the
not
use
a
of their
like,
time.
right, right.
Yes, and I think that's a very, very good question because do you have to provide insurance for an intern?
No, at the end of the day, if you're going to have an intern come in and work for you and they're not considered an independent contractor and they haven't established their own entity and you haven't contracted with them in that type of a relationship, because if you have an independent contractor come on, generally you're going to want them to have their own entity and you're going to force them to have their own insurance. That way, if they mess up, you can, get subrogated through their insurance for any liability that might be impugned onto you from their actions.
So I'm gonna give the dumb guy language for all what he's saying because some people don't, they think of independent contractor and sometimes people just zone out right there.
So independent contractor is not an employee.
I'm gonna say what you shouldn't say, but freelancer in a gig economy, we're all hiring people to be subcontracted for digital, for instance. So
Sure.
What we would call freelancers specifically, you should be calling them independent contractors.
Right. But at the
Right.
end of the day, to answer the question is mostly tailored to the point that if you have them work for you, they're going to operate under your insurance as an intern. But I mean, you're not going to generally give them something where they're going to, as an intern, at least you shouldn't, that's going to give rise to liability.
Operate this backhoe, please.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If you have an intern coming into an office, they're probably going to sort mail, or they might, go on your computer and for your company's network, and they might have to do something to organize. Maybe, like for instance, an office I've been at, we have interns come in and they're going to look through certain types of contracts we have, and we might have them say, okay, go and look up all the non-compete provisions and all of our employment agreements across the country. Double check the laws in each state and find out if anything's changed on precedent over the past 5 years in case we have to update them. Like, that's not going to lead to liability. So it really just depends on what type of
basically doing Grammarly's work.
well, it just depends what part of the
So,
economy
yeah,
the
bitch work, I
business
think
is
the
in
legal term.
that the intern's coming to. Like Eric was saying, if the intern's coming in to do construction work, well, that's not really, that's going to be something that's a lot more heavily laden towards some type of liability risk versus someone sitting in an air-conditioned office, on the 30th floor of a building just looking at a computer. You're going to have less risk. So it just depends on what the scope of the work is.
Part of the requirements for something, like if there's anything physical, you'd say like you'd have something in the contract that says, can you pick up 30 pounds or something or whatever.
The point is, even just to cut the chase on, is you wouldn't hire an intern to do those things.
So the bottom line is, if it's like a school, if you give them credit through school,
yes,
because
They're
I mean,
slaves.
yeah, and well, that's invaluable.
They
But
are.
honestly, I honestly loved having interns to help teach them.
Yeah.
yes.
As well, though, like really take them under my wing.
We had one that came in here to get a high school credit through
Oh, that poor girl.
that girl. We go, you have to listen to the podcast and just mark down all the keywords. She's like, I don't
Like,
know.
I don't think I'm allowed to write
We
these
just-
keywords.
We aged her
legally.
like 15 years, I think, in the future. She's like, I've never
She
heard
looked
of
way older
Plumpkin.
when
What's
she-
that?
Yeah, I think I just know that
What's
interns,
rusty trombone?
interns are obviously important because that's how you help, in one way, obviously teach the next generation of workers to kind of see how the everyday, aspect of work is, because they're not going to know that because they're in school all day.
Well, and if you're artistically inclined too, I mean, look, this.
Yeah.
I did stand up forever for free until I got paid, and that's
Right.
how you have to do it. And
That's it.
No one there's a supply of comedians out there, right?
Right.
It doesn't meet the demand one for one, so you have to go out there and do things for free until you get paid. Almost in anything you really want to do anyway.
Well, not only that. I think this might even help kind of cut to the chase on the indicator is if you bring an intern in, it's not because you're expecting to receive an exceptional amount of services from them. They're really just there
really lobbing me some
to be
dirty
learning.
jokes. Yeah.
Well, it's true.
To observe.
To observe and learn.
Exactly.
Maybe not even do the stuff
And-
that they
yeah,
want to
ex-
do, but watch somebody else
Watch
do
how
it.
we do
Watch how
it.
they
Or
do their
here's how
day-to-day
you file
work.
a lawsuit. Here's how you draft a
Yeah.
complaint, just to learn, so that when it comes time, maybe you're trying to hire someone later if they show potential or something like that. And they can't be there very long. You can't take a lot of their time. If you take more than 2 hours a day if they're a student,
Right. Yeah.
then you're starting to get into the labor and employment laws where you start taking someone's time away from them, not compensating them. There's a high probability that perhaps they are coming into your business as something that's masked as an internship, but it's not.
Corporate espionage.
And they're likely supposed to be there to provide you a service, and they should be being paid for it, whether it's an employee, independent contractor, or whatever it is. And then you're skidding the laws by not giving them compensation when they're providing more. So that's kind of where you have to be careful. That's why.
So but here's my advice to people that are hiring interns is have some kind of path. Like, don't just go, oh, we can have them go sort mail or do some.
No, you have to.
You want look just from a management cost perspective, right? Cost accounting. If you're putting your time in to talking to an intern, you might as well take 10 extra minutes before they arrive at your place of business and go, maybe we should have a track plan for this person to maybe be hired.
It's not even 10 minutes before. The people who do it safely, and I've seen it
months
and
ahead,
I've been a part
years
of it.
ahead. Yeah,
it's a whole program the company has, and it's all there's like a handbook about it. And there's a timesheet you have to hand in what you did each day. When you check in, check out, so they have proof that your hours weren't overboard.
Yeah,
and this is what you're gonna do from week 1 to week 10, and then week 10 it stops. And then we're done. Like it's not going to be ongoing for a year. It looks like an employment relationship. So everything has to be structured.
Yeah, we did not do that.
We're just like, actually, we did. We did.
We did.
We did.
We did. Okay, I was just joking then.
No, we did all the legal part. We didn't do any of the actual stuff that benefit us.
Oh, right. No, yeah.
No, because I call Steve. I'm like, hey, how am I going to fuck myself doing this? And he goes, well, he just gives the explanation he just did, and I could call him anytime. And he'll explain it like that. Whereas we'd be like, hey, bro, I'm at the beach. Just, yeah, but I B2B 69. So, I reciprocate love somehow.
Oh, my God.
Well, I would just say, though, I'm sorry. Can you tell I'm trying to get off?
All right.
Right?
Please do.
But I would encourage people to be interns and students to be interns because
Serena thinks there's a G rating on this show.
Yes, I am I can't help it.
I prefer the G rating.
We're not going to bring you on the muck. Don't worry about it. I'm aware.
I don't mean to.
She did say get off for a second. I know she meant.
Dude, this is your show. Dude.
Wow,
this
Steve.
is your
had
show,
to play on.
right?
Yeah.
So
go for it. Yeah, he needs to be reined in sometimes.
What? It's your show.
Yeah.
So
not really.
But you're right, though.
I'm just honored to be here.
But you're right, though. Interns, it's incredibly important because people. It's like honestly, the best example I always give is being a lawyer. When you're in law school and then you get out, you don't know how to practice law. You just don't.
Well, I was going to say it reminds me of like a vet quarterback who brings in a rookie. He might not be showing him anything about football, but he shows him what time he wakes up in the morning, what time does he get to the facility. Like, just these little things like, oh, that's the guy that cleans my shoes, whatever.
Unless you're Joe
finding
Flacco.
out these little things.
He ain't going to show you anything.
Really? Is he
you haven't heard that?
No.
He's on the Broncos
Brett Favre
now.
did the Aaron Rodgers, too. He's like, I'm not showing this guy.
They were like,
he's going to take my job.
They're like, are you going to show him what to do? He's like, no, it's my job to win.
But it's true.
Why would I show him what to do?
Like I'll just give you a good example why there's certain countries I think it's mandatory. Canada, when you graduate law school, before you can actually finally graduate,
America Junior.
You have to, it's called articling. You have to spend time in a firm or with a judge in order to graduate. You have to do it. They will not let you graduate unless you have put that semester in worth of time.
Do they have to wear the silly wigs? Is that still going on?
They don't wear that. That's England. But
how long do they have to do? Is law school the same length in Canada?
Law school is the same length in Canada. It's all 3 years. And then,
but do they make you have a college degree before?
Yeah, you can't get into law school without a college degree.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you can do extra, like I did an extra degree after law school. I got an LLM in corporate law and finance. It's 1 year where you specialize in one area in the law. And mine was corporate law and finance. So you can do 4 years of law school if you really wanted to.
Oh man, it sounds even worse up there.
No, that was here.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, that's right. You didn't go to law school.
No, they can't. All my education's been in the States pretty much after high school, yeah.
Yeah, he played college football Western Michigan.
No, I went to law school, Western Michigan. Played college football at Michigan Tech, yeah.
Michigan Tech.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
I get it confused with ITT Tech sometimes. Sorry. You were a slot receiver there, wide receiver.
You also went to Auburn, so I can tell why you understand things very well.
I don't know geography so well.
It's okay.
All right, so other question. I want to talk to you about rev share stuff. So we get presented with a lot of opportunities to hey, I got a great idea, I got no money, but you guys have the skills to do a lot of the digital stuff. And what we've been talking about off air, aside from that, I'm just talking about generally, we get a lot of these. And how should those be structured as far as what would be the difference between like a rev share and a partnership kind of thing, right? By the way, if you have an app idea and you want to pitch it to me, just do like basic research before maybe asking. Like, does it exist? You know, like
Yeah.
if the ideas are cheap.
I would.
Who are you
Ideas are
directing that at? Who? What?
just in
I want
general.
to know which.
Yeah,
room.
first night he was
I've
talking
got
to
a
me.
We
hundred-
talked about this.
We get a lot.
I think the last podcast.
Did we?
Yeah, I think so.
I can't remember.
know you're-
It's. I'm like an NFL
Blacks out.
cornerback, like just play to play.
I am thinking
just
about
forget.
making an app though. We should talk about that off.
No, no,
before I
that-
give my
and that's
idea out.
fine.
It's legally related though. About
But I know. But you're
figuring
not-
out questions like that.
See, I would take any idea you have legit because you execute. At one point we were doing a college football podcast. You did a corporate position. You had Fantetti Legal, FantettiLegal.com. Your business refine. So that's a plug for you. You were teaching at the Western Michigan campus.
I'm still doing all the stuff you said right now.
And you've got a 3-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Your wife's an attorney as well.
Got the coffee business.
You have a coffee
your
business
partner,
on top of it?
Your partner, can I say the brand on air?
You can
or
say
no?
Tattered Beans.
Tatterbeans.com. So
Mhm.
very cool peer-to-peer, kind of like Tom's Shoes, where you buy a pair of shoes, it gives it to someone in need.
Portion of it. No, well,
But this is
we make
different.
profit, but a portion of every sale, no matter what, goes to vets and first responders.
Oh wow!
It's
Yeah.
still, but it's still
Yeah.
peer-to-peer is my part, not the
Yeah.
nonprofit part.
No, it's
Yeah,
definitely not
yeah.
a nonprofit.
Right.
No, but its mission is tailored upon. You can't buy any type of coffee or any shirt or hat or whatever off our site unless you select a veteran whose profile is on our page. Veterans sign up, and they will receive a portion of every single sale that's made. And then at the end of the month, we write them checks.
I love
about
that
their
you
portion.
have actual
Amazing.
people.
Yes.
Right,
That you
yeah.
get, that's
That is
huge.
As soon as you go on our front page of our website,
Dude,
you
that's
will see
great.
them all on there.
It's
All
a-
the vets
it's a
that-
really
that
great
sign
I
idea.
hate
up.
the
Yeah.
I hate the like
I
faceless
agree.
charities. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's going into a big
Yeah.
bank account somewhere.
I agree. No, we make it known, and we
That's great.
actually post. You'll see on our social media pages when we're writing the checks out.
You
and
know
we're
what's
sending
e-
them to the vets. It's,
you know
it's
what's
the
even
best
wo-
part of the job.
You know what's even worse is
company.
when you go to like grocery store and they're like, "Do you want to give $1 to blah 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 blah?" And you're
No,
like,
thank you.
So
I do
you
not.
get the tax credit of the dollar I
Exactly.
spent
Yeah,
to you.
right.
Fuck you. And now I feel like shit.
I say
Why-
no, thank you every time.
I say
I feel
suck
so
a bag of
bad
dicks. I'm not doing
don't
that.
You? Oh gosh,
It is.
I don't feel. I mean,
I always cringe when they ask because I do donate to a lot of
Yeah.
charities.
right?
So, like-
Exactly.
and then there's
They
someone
don't know
right-
that.
Right, there's
We should
someone
get some
right next to you, like-
badges or a tattoo that you get or something. Be like,
Tattoo.
check it. Like I already did this.
Yeah, you don't get the credit. You don't get to write it off. So it's like, cool.
Well, you can find a way.
You could, but I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? Like,
You could also just
That's-
give to charity without.
But
you
if
know,
it's like a de minimis
write-off
amount, like $1 or
necessary.
$2, you're
Right.
not going to write that off. It's not going to
right,
qualify.
right.
Yeah.
So it's just a little bit
but
at
when
a
they
time.
add up,
But if you add them up in
tens
the
of thousands,
you add them up in the aggregate, that's what I do every year. I add mine up in the aggregate, take all the receipts, everything, get proof of it. and then-
Sure. But I'm saying,
Yeah.
like, it's just like Office Space. They're like, just a penny at a time and just we'll
Fraction of
right,
pennies.
Right,
Remember that?
Exactly.
They won't even know they're missing.
Yeah. Hey, Peter, man.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, we digress extremely. Do you want me
Right.
to answer
We
your
did.
question on revenue share?
yes.
All right.
please.
So essentially, and let me know if I'm wrong about just your basic concept of what you're saying about revenue share. But what you're saying is
Could be a business, could be just a brick and mortar business.
Well,
too.
right, but no,
I just
I don't
like
care about
using,
the
I like
business.
using app ideas because everybody goes, "Oh, bro, I got an app idea. It's a
Yeah.
bar that you could get drinks." It's like dumb shit like that, you know.
Right, but
like,
you're
Drinks,
saying
drink
you're
you.
saying gross sales from whatever the product or service is that you're going to each be getting a percentage of the gross sales of the business because each of you are contributing something to that
right,
business.
right.
Whether you're an owner or not,
Yeah.
correct? Because you
Mhm.
don't have to be. So there's a couple of different ways you can set up a revenue share agreement. I actually did 2 of them this past week for 2 different companies
Mhm.
opening up in Tampa.
Mhm.
One of the ones is you can, first of all, each create separate entities yourselves, operate independently. You can create a joint venture agreement and call it a joint venture, 2 businesses venturing together to achieve the same common purpose. And then through that joint venture agreement, it will lay out the rights, duties, and obligations
I
of
write
each
this
of you
down.
within it and how you'll split revenue. And then within that, there's going to be offsets and costs and overhead and how you're going to, like I said, it depends how you define gross and net and what's going to be taken out before you receive your revenue share. Usually in revenue share agreements, too, you're going to have some portion of whatever you each take has to go back into the business before you start taking, any type of distribution or profit for yourself. So it's all based on structure. But that's one method is the joint
So
venture.
for a lot of people, a distribution would be a payment of sorts, right?
From the
So-
business,
So if
correct.
I'm an S corp in this situation, the reason I do
Don't go
S
there already.
well,
can.
the reason I'm an S corp
Mhm.
S corp filing is because I don't want to get double taxed. So
Mm-hmm.
as the owner of the business makes $100,000, right?
Sure. Good number.
You want it to get
Mhm.
you want it to get taxed once and not when you pay yourself out if you're just a regular LLC,
Correct.
right? So if
So
you're-
it's passed on to you as the individual,
Yeah,
right?
it flows through the business. It's
Right.
called a pass through. It passes through. It's just like, and actually, regular general partnership tax is the same way. But the thing is, they both pass through, and Trump actually lowered it for S corps. Now I think it's like 20%.
Ooh, Trump, yeah.
Coolest
I'll beat you
president
to
ever.
it.
He did though. It was a little
coolest
bit higher,
president, bro.
but he lowered the
Where's the air
tax
horn?
rate on S corps to 20%.
Thanks for Trump.
The difference is if it was a partnership tax, it also flows through the business if you're a partnership, but then you're taxed at your individual rate on your when you file your 10K your
What are we running?
1040
Running
return.
10K.
Damn.
And you're going to file what's called a Schedule K, what's going to show the difference from your 1040, what you made personally versus what your business made. And you have to allocate those. And
See,
then
this
when
is
you
even
have,
his area. This is tax part.
I'm not a big tax guy, but it just coincides so much with
Just
it.
a bit of a fan.
And then you're going to have an
So this is what
my
I
hobby.
fanboy.
this is what I tell everybody. I got you with
Mm-hmm.
my CPA, and y'all work together.
Love
I
him.
refer both.
Plug them.
Yeah, who
Michael
is your
Messina.
okay.
If you go to MPM,
Yeah,
oh,
Morgenstein, Pfeiffer, and somebody else. But
Yeah,
it's really good.
just
They're in the Bank of America building. That's what I tell people.
Well, there's some people that aren't in Tampa, but
True story.
yeah.
I forgot you guys are worldwide.
Don't
Dude,
forget
I'll show
it.
you the listenership. It keeps going
That's
up.
why I
every,
said it. You thought I was
every-
kidding.
Every episode, I feel like
I
it
listened
keeps
to it,
charting
and
up.
I'm Canadian. So there
And
you
so,
go.
what I would say was, I
Mhm.
got both of them together. I go, talk to me like I'm 5, and you got
No,
because
honestly,
there's so much.
but that's a great way to
Yeah,
put
it
it.
is.
I know what I
Denzel
don't know.
Washington.
This is I'm getting better on the business legal just because
Mhm.
he's coached me up on a lot of that. I feel like I've coached you, Fantetti, up on a lot of digital, like how it's the Wild West and how there's like
Yes.
it's not the same as the brick and mortar setup for legal. So
No.
it changes all the time. So it's tough and dynamic pricing and just kind of Moore's law where
Yeah.
it's exceeding the rate at which we can take it in
For sure.
as far as technology. And
Yeah.
so
there's a way to rein it in and control it contractually, but at the same time,
right, but just like a Dropbox folder, right?
Of course.
If you share deliverables with
Mhm.
a client, who owns that? And that's in the ether, and this is so new, and so we have to
that's
treat it.
but that's contractually
But I mean,
controllable.
you know what I'm saying, though.
Mhm.
But on a small business level, a lot of people aren't
Yes,
thinking
small
that.
business, they're not.
And so-
Absolutely right.
And so the
Mhm.
large corporate ones, they've got that team really wired down. But for us, for most of the small businesses out there, it's it is the Wild West. That's
Mhm.
why people get ripped off by fucking bad shit. Dick, I fucking hate these. I'm about to have a heart attack. SEO company. SEO, like the SEO companies that rip
Sure.
off people and burn and churn. And
Yeah.
so when I started this, I was like, bro, I want us to be as strict as possible with anything digital in the contracts
Mhm.
because you have to protect ourselves. Because on the other side, even if you do the work, you get ripped off a lot too.
Yeah, that's why you
Because
get
it's
your,
intangible.
but just get your money up front.
And
the only way
you've
I
been
work.
telling me that, and
It's the
you're
only way I
right.
work.
And yeah,
I agree. We should have a sit down with them
That's
about
it.
that. After
Yeah.
this.
sure.
Yeah.
So
Simple solution to a big problem. Anyway,
When is it a good
here we go.
when is it a good idea though to get an LLC then?
So it,
Or do you think it's a good idea ever
Yesterday.
to get an LLC?
It's
really?
when-
Really?
I mean,
I'll
Is
be
it-
honest
is
with
it
you.
so
he's
passe?
the attorney. I'm not going to
Yeah.
jump
Is it
in
so
here and answer the
passe,
question.
LLC
You
now?
know, there's it's because that's a question I get from students all the time, and the most important thing like that to look at is what's your ultimate end goal with the business generally, or where you're trying to grow to. But sometimes you don't know that either, and so if that is the case, an LLC to me is always the safest. But if you're going to have multiple owners and you're going to need a lot of investment, a lot of times I would say a corporation's better because when you can offer stock, that's more of an incentive for people to want to invest in your company because they're going to have that type of ownership where, depending on, I don't want to get too complicated, but you can create different classes of stock. Certain types of classes will have different voting rights. They'll have different liquidation rights, which means they can get paid first and things like that if certain events happen in the company. So when people see that, that will motivate them to want to invest in a corporation. If it's an LLC, not saying that this isn't the case, but you can make different types. It's not called stock in an LLC, by the way. It's called membership interest units. But those units can be like stock, but you can't diversify them like you can with a stock. So I'm just answering her
Yeah,
question.
I know.
Yes, no, but
So-
I wasn't the one.
If you're
he
trying to go
queued
public,
me up.
if you're
I
trying
didn't
to go
even pay
public,
So if
a
you're
lot of
trying to go
times-
I just
public,
zoned out for a
LLC is
minute.
definitely not the way to go.
I
if
would
you're
say
trying to go public,
I would say
right?
definitely
Eric,
not, but I
that's
would
so
say
rude.
corporations more preferred.
That's so rude, Eric.
LLC are more. I'll just most of the time they're for people who are like mom and pop shops starting up, or you just are kind of like a single owner and you're running a couple businesses. I have two of them like this where it's single owner. You want the S corp election because entities can't own it. You won't get the pass through. It's got to be individual people, and or also if you're using them as holding entities, which is a big strategic reason why people get LLC. So, for instance, if you want to put a piece of real estate and you want to own it in your own name, you create a business and the business owns the real estate. Therefore, if something goes wrong, they're limited to the assets of that entity and they can't come after your personal net worth
Yep.
or anything else.
That's what we did with our dental practice building.
There you go.
Now is
Yep.
2 more things to worry
And,
about.
and the smart thing to do is if you can do that, and then you can have, like there's one business I own where we will charge rent to property that we own, but we'll do
Mhm.
it through the business and we're making money back through that. Or if you can have extra space, you can use the real estate that you're using for your business and also sublease or rent out space to another third party and charge them rent, and then that business is still making income off that too, and you can get charged at a lower rate versus if you owned it personally, you wouldn't be able to be taxed at that lower S corp rate. You'd be taxed at the higher 35, 40%.
He's a human Google.
Oh my gosh, he's
Yeah.
amazing. Okay,
Legal
so,
Zoom.
Okay, I have to ask another question.
He has a
about what you
pic-
just
he has a
mentioned.
tattoo of Robert Shapiro on his back.
God.
I do have no
And I
tattoos
wish,
at
I
all.
mean, I know most people are just listening to the podcast, but you can view it too. I mean, I can't believe, again, like you're even old enough to accomplish everything. you've
He's younger than
accomplished.
us.
Oh my
Yeah,
Yeah,
God.
just spent time in school and didn't do anything else.
Man, he's a legal superhero.
Just
That's what I'm
studied
saying.
and-
He puts me to shame. I think I
Stop
work
it.
hard, and he's like, oh yeah, I did like these 18 things the other day.
You
Like,
guys
cool.
are pretty cool too,
Cool.
though.
They are.
Thanks.
They are.
They're
You
crushing
guys,
it.
you guys are pretty
Thanks.
awesome too.
These guys are crushing. it.
But when you have an LLC, so like you were talking about the real estate,
Yeah.
and you
This is
decide
easy.
to put the real estate in an LLC. Should
Mhm.
each say, and you have multiple properties,
Oh,
should
yeah.
each one be an LLC?
Absolutely.
Really? Why? Absolutely. That's a very good question.
Because here's why.
Okay.
Let's say I create
Did you
one.
just humble brag your own question?
Yes, I sure did.
That was no,
That was a
but
good question. I said out
I'll
loud.
actually piggyback on that because that's a very good question.
Oh,
'cause it's a
thank you.
common one.
Okay.
It is though. It's a very common question I get.
You
so
tricked him into saying
you're
that.
right.
No, but I like it.
Dang
You
it.
know what's a really good question? What I just said.
The high pitched
Don't
voice
you
part
agree?
of it.
I agree.
You know what I just said?
I agree too.
So to answer your question, let's think about it this way. And this is when you and I were talking off air about offsetting risk and liability. This is one of the reasons why you would. So let's say if I create a entity, LLC,
Mhm.
and it owns property A, and then I find 3 other good properties, B, C, and D, and I put them under the same entity owns them.
Yes.
Well, I guess the first question I'd ask you is, what are you doing with those properties? Let's say, are you renting them out and you're
Say
collecting
you're
rent?
renting them out.
Beautiful.
Right. Okay.
Let's say you have a slip and fall at one,
Mhm.
and you get a lawsuit against it for $5 million. Okay. Well, what happens? Let's say you can't satisfy that judgment. Okay, you have to go and find the money elsewhere. Well, what they're going to do is the other side's lawyer would do is they're going to pierce through a veil if there was a veil, but there isn't one here because they're all one company. They're going to use all the other properties and force you to sell them to make up for the judgment that you couldn't do for that one house. Now, if you had them in different entities, if it just was a slip and fall at that one entity, and let's say that the value of that real estate was $1 million and $5 million was the judgment that you lost, they're only going to be able to get the value of the property $1 million because it's a separate entity. They can't go to all the other ones to be able to force to do it unless they pierce through the veil. Pierce the corporate veil means you can go through different entities because they look like one common enterprise. But if you treat them separately and independently, and you have to keep the proper records, different bank accounts, all that stuff,
Mhm.
then you're offsetting your liability and your risk. If something goes wrong at one, they can't come after the other properties.
So it's so worth it.
I actually
Exactly.
did want to know the answer to that question. I was well, because we have a building, and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, we're paying rent to ourselves, but I'm paying sales tax on this rent that I'm paying.
Shit.
Two more.
didn't
That's why
mean-
you're not allowed to push the button.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I was
It's not
trying
the
to-
2-minute
I was
warning.
trying to get your camera angle on you while
Oh.
you're talking.
No, I don't have a camera going on me. Nobody needs to see that. No, but yeah, no, we have. I was like, I honestly don't know. I was trying to explain to my wife. I was like, I don't know why it's beneficial for us to have this separate because our CPA told us to do it. To be paying this sales tax, where I don't understand if we didn't do that, we wouldn't be paying sales tax on our mortgage if it was all run through the business
Mhm.
that's already there, right? Explain that to me. Or did you just do that and I'm
that's
too stupid
That's
to
no,
understand?
that's exactly what I just did. I did explain it.
So the
Because
sales,
So
just
do it
because
again.
they're operating independently.
slower this
Well,
time.
they're operating in. So we'll just make sure I understood what
This
you
is
said.
how
Okay.
this is
Your
how this
structure.
goes when I ask him questions. I'm like,
I don't know
he
your
tells
structure.
me the whole thing.
Do you
and
have
then I
your
go,
you
one
just-
more time?
You said your real
but
estate's in a
dumber.
separate building, and you have a separate
There's-
LLC or business that operates just the dentistry business.
Right,
Okay.
right.
And so your question is about the tax. Why are you paying tax on?
Why am I paying sales tax? Because
Yes.
with the corporate leases, you have to pay a sales
Yes, you
tax
do.
on your rent.
Because that's a separate entity, and its purpose is it's a real estate holding entity. So that's going to have its own tax. If you
Well, yeah, I'm
if
just
you
saying.
aggregate the tax, which means if you're trying to avoid it because the business and the real estate are under the same company, well, then the tax is just going to be put together. But you have a separate tax because
But we
the
wouldn't
the
be
real estate
paying-
is its own separate entity.
And it's not like a lot. I'm saying like the sales tax portion is all I'm thinking about.
Yes.
Like so, the sales tax would not be there, but it would be more. It's more beneficial to be paying that and have it separate than to have
Yes.
it all under one, and then
Correct.
we're hit harder with.
And
Okay.
Yes, and to answer your question more is you have to show that separate tax because if you're not, then that separate LLC has no basis.
Right. Yeah.
So if I ever wanted to go and let's say
Oh, okay.
Let's say, yeah, like so. Here,
I got
I'll give you
you.
an example. Let's say your wife did
So that-
dental surgery on me, and it was malpractice, and I'd sued for whatever amount of money, and I won, okay, if you operated the real estate under it, okay, I'd be able to get the assets. I would force you to sell that real estate so I can get the money that I got from my judgment. You couldn't pay me. Now, you have the building in a separate LLC. So if I had to sue, I couldn't get or force you to sell that real estate to satisfy my judgment. But the only way that that's possible is if you're showing that that LLC that the real estate's in is having a proper purpose, which it has its own bank account, i.e., it's paying its own taxes.
Right.
Okay,
so
it has to show these things on paper. Otherwise, piercing the corporate veil happens, where it looks like you're just running one common enterprise. You're not doing these things. Have to have an identity in and of themselves, separate from other businesses that are around them. Otherwise, it looks like one big conglomerate.
So it's basically, it's not necessarily financially better that I have to pay this $200 a month or whatever. It's not. That is just like a penalty, basically,
cost
to be able
business,
to be able to not have this looming risk. Okay,
100%. Because
great. Now I can mark this, show it to my wife, so I don't have to explain it again.
She'll listen to it.
To be a business, you have
She'll
to
listen
do
to it in 6 months.
what's called corporate formalities. If you don't maintain them, that's when you can pierce through business. I've been a part of lawsuits that all the time. And people will try to say, well, no, you can't come after us. We're a business. Because I tell people businesses are really created for two reasons. One, the tax benefits.
Yep.
And two, to offset your personal liability and personal net worth from being involved in a judgment.
Be an empty bag.
So people will just say, oh, you can't come and get me because I'm an LLC. And then I'll say, okay, that's great. Show me your corporate records. I want to see your bank account transactions. Make sure there's no commingling of funds from a different business or using transactions for your personal purposes. And then you start saying, are you acting like a company under the law? And then if you're not, like not paying taxes under the
Got
entity,
it. Okay.
then I come after you and I'll be able to get through and pierce that veil. And I'll be able to join the companies together in one suit and I'll be able to get the judgment.
I'm glad I'm on
Oh
your
my
team.
gosh, I'm having heart palpitations.
I know. I'm glad he's not coming after me, man.
So I mean, basically,
It's a fun talk. I can talk about it all day.
it's not
That's not
enough.
I teach.
It's
That
not
being
enough
said-
to have.
That's actual 2 minutes.
Well, we can go. Look,
What
we
time
don't
is
have to
it?
stick.
It's 4:40. I'm just letting you know.
You got a hard out. You got a hard out at 5.
Yeah, but I can go a little bit over if we have to.
So
I want to keep talking if you want.
Well, right. There's you're.
Hey, you're helping me, buddy.
You have a plethora
great.
of information.
Yes.
What is a plethora?
Just have
Guapo?
a plethora.
That is one of my favorite words, by the way. plethora.
He hasn't
Plethora is
seen
a
Three
great word.
Amigos. He
I
doesn't
haven't,
get it.
but he asked me about plethora. I'm like, I know what plethora is.
That's the whole joke from the movie.
Yeah.
Do you know what it
That's
is?
what I didn't know.
Do you know what a
Then
plethora
I
is?
got it.
I don't know why I'm doing it like training day.
And not even the right lines.
You are doing it like training day. Let's not go that line.
You ever had your
I-
ear pushed in?
Yeah, don't talk about
All
that.
right. Sorry. I'd like
Anyway, so that makes sense. That answers your
Yes,
question.
But
that
each
does.
LLC then has to have its own bank account.
There you go.
Yes.
That's-
Oh my
it's
gosh,
such a burden.
really?
I know.
So
Because it's
it's
crazy.
each. So
It
so
doesn't
say-
take that, but that sounds like a big deal. It's not that hard to do.
No, but
it just takes
your point
a
is right
minute.
because I'm getting to that point now where I have so many LLCs. You have to pay the annual fee every year. Then you got to keep a
Right.
bank account. You got to keep records for all of them. You got to do all these different things.
Right.
File your DBA name every year. Refile and pay the fee. So it's a lot.
The advice
That's why
I
people
say
have attorneys do it all for them.
we'll
so they
put
don't
it in
have
iCal. Just
to. I don't
dummy
even know what that is.
your calendar, your Google
Oh.
calendar, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Remind yourself of all these little checkpoints.
That's true.
Take one day to look over. All right, I've asked you that before.
You have.
What are the days I need to get whatever in? You're like,
Yeah.
you need quarterly. You need to do your time.
Yes.
You need to do
Quarterly meetings,
before May. In
annual
Florida, you have to
meetings.
do it before
You got
May
to pay
1st.
exactly. Got to pay your fee every year.
So
by
I put
May.
all that stuff in, and I just get
Mhm.
one day. Just was like, all right, let's get super organized,
Yeah.
like Leslie Knope on Parks and Rec.
And that's one of the reasons why the registered agent was created. It's not the only reason. The main reason a registered agent is created. You know, when you create an LLC or a corporation, you have to say who the registered agent is. The main purpose of it is to accept service of process or any type of legal or public filings against you so that that person will get them and they'll act upon them fast enough so you don't miss a deadline. Another reason why they have registered agent, I actually charge a fee to this to certain companies every year, is they'll just have me be the registered agent, which means I keep track of every single aspect of that business from the paper side, like opening the bank account, keeping track of the minutes, making sure that the fees get filed, all those different things.
Mhm.
And then that way they know that they're being taken care of and it's not on them and it's on me.
So
So,
let's-
you can do it that way too. Not I'm trying to find work or anything.
Let's-
It's a smart way to make sure everything's done. If you have, like, it's usually good because small businesses are so invested in trying to run and raise revenue, which is their most important goal, is to drive ROI, as I would say. So
Girthy ROI.
at the end of the
hashtag.
day, if you went, what most small companies, I'll just tell you because I deal with them all the time, is they won't do this other aspect of running the business very well, if at all.
It's
And then when
just-
they do get sued, then they call me and they said, "Oh, I should have done what you told me and
A
kept
lot-
these records and all this stuff." But you're right; it can get tasking if you have 7, 8, 12, whatever different LLCs and corporations. You got to keep records for all of them because the moment you don't, And then
Dude,
something
yeah.
happens, they'll pierce through all of them, and it looks like it's one big common enterprise.
Yep.
Because you should have been treating them as separate businesses, but you look like you're just
Yeah.
running one big enterprise and hiding behind a name.
Yeah, it'll look like a shell game
Mhm.
essentially,
Sure.
right? As your people say.
Who's your people?
Sam's got a question from the couch.
yeah.
No microphone, so I'm going to
Celebrity
repeat.
talk
I'm going to repeat it. Whatever you
Can't
say.
hear you.
Go for it.
So if you have an LLC.
So if you have an LLC, I'll repeat it.
Yeah.
And you're using a personal bank account and not an LLC bank account.
Is that a bad
Are you
thing?
going to jail?
At all with your LLC still or no?
Say it again?
Are you protected with your
Oh.
LLC?
Are you protected with your LLC? And Fantetti says no.
Not at all.
Huh.
So
I
what
feel-
happens
I feel like
is-
someone told
He
you
kind
a
of
while back.
did just explain the whole
No,
thing,
that's
Sam.
a good
You're not
question.
paying
It's a
attention.
great question because
What are you doing,
people
work
might
over
think-
there?
Yeah, well, people might think I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just doing transactions. But now you're personally making yourself liable. So when you create an LLC, the LLC is different from a partnership because when you're in a partnership entity, there's an entity called a partnership. There's general partnerships, limited partnerships,
Yep.
etc. You are personally liable for the business. There is no shield. The reason why the LLC was
Scoot
created
this way a little bit.
Sorry. The reason why the
Turn it down.
LLC was created is it creates that shield. So to answer your question is if you are using your personal bank account for business reasons, you are basically telling the public that you don't have a shield anymore because the business and you are the same thing.
Yep.
But you want that shield to say, no, personal's over here, business is over here. Well, in order to do that, the business needs its own operating account. It can't operate out of your personal account. That way, so in the event of a lawsuit, you know, your boat, your house, your car, whatever you own would become part of the judgment to satisfy any assets that your business didn't have to pay out a plaintiff that won.
And generally, you can find a local bank that they're usually a lot better with small businesses in every city, wherever you're at, because they're a lot more flexible than the corporate ones. You're Bank of America, they don't give a fuck about you. So,
yeah, I don't use Bank of America.
but you know what I'm saying? Like the more corporate it is, usually the less likely they are to kind of work with you on your small business accounts and stuff like that.
And here's
walk you
another
through stuff.
No,
like,
that's true. And then another thing that you might want to know too, because you raised a really good question, is a lot of people don't know this. Depending on what type of professional you are, there's certain rules about what kind of accounts you can have. So, for instance, if you're a lawyer, you have to have, if you take a client's money, you can't just have a general operating account if you are doing something like a retainer arrangement where you have the money sitting, but you haven't earned it yet, and you have to draw from it. You have to have a separate account just for retainers. You have to keep that separate. So it's called a trust account.
So even separate from
Your actual
business
company's bank account. Yes. So if you're doing it all personally, you're only going to be
like an escrow,
breaking the
right?
law. You're going to be sanctioned. You could lose your license. You could be heavily fined for not following the rules about properly handling your client's money. I know accountants have that. Lawyers have that. I think some doctors have that. It depends what kind of doctor you are. So that's another thing why you don't want to use a personal one, because then you wouldn't have the proper trust account set up or whatever it is that the rules are for that different discipline of what they mandate for your profession to have from an accounting and banking perspective. And so that's why you definitely don't want to use your personal account as well.
Yeah. And so, and there's a bunch of online options you can do, like Ally, which is probably owned by a bigger bank as well. But if you mess with the
Is that a
virtual,
plug? No, I don't know.
I wish. Hey, you want to sponsor this podcast?
Right?
Yeah.
By all means.
Online bank, we'll
There
switch
you
it all
go.
over, baby.
Dude, we will be a corporate shill. If Chase wants to come in here, I will not talk shit about him. No.
We will 180
yeah,
everything
we will
you
sell
know
out
about
like
us
that.
so fast.
Word.
we have affiliate marketing sponsors that we found out the code doesn't work on any of them, so that's
Yep.
cool.
Excellent.
We've been plugging him for
Like
2
that
years.
suit company. We still know what it's called.
Oh, Indochino.
Oh, is that
no,
what
the
they-
one,
oh.
no,
Oh, we
the,
want
the
Indochino.
one in L.A.
L.A. We still don't.
Sam Tripoli's one. Yeah. No, we've got FreshBooks,
Probably a money laundering
Grasshopper.
company. No, I'm joking.
Well, it was like if you're in LA and in
Go see
the
the
Melrose
suit guy.
district,
Yeah.
here's the soup place to go.
company. But you know what it is.
I'm sorry. So you say wait. You
no.
We're
so
gonna have to
they haven't been
geofence that
working-
shit.
They haven't been working for 2 years.
Oh no, yeah, we have like gofreshbooks.com/sweat. They used to be up here.
Well, what's it called?
WarbyParker.com.
Yeah, Warby worked, didn't it?
WarbyParkerTrial.com
Yeah.
/sweat. And if you go, but
It's a big time.
so the sales
Bless your heart.
agency that got a hold of us to do
Yeah.
it, they don't care about us. So no, that's on me. I should have checked that.
Yeah.
It for someone who does. That's the thing. That's my specialty. So my thing is I'm bad at myself for not checking in on the tracking code all the time,
All right.
because that's something you have to do. The whole thing with digital marketing is you can track everything if you lay it out correctly.
Mhm.
These codes are to be tracked, right? So it's like I should be able to track this and look this up. I just got lazy and just forgot to do it.
Cool.
So like one of our codes goes to like Grasshopper. You can get a discount if you use the trygrasshopper.com. Is it trygrasshopper?
Yeah, /sweat.
/sweat. If you go to that, but it's HTTP, not HTTPS.
Yeah, and it rejects people.
Oh,
So on your
goodness.
Chrome, it's going to be like this. You could have a virus because it's not SSL secure is what
Great
it's called.
pod.
And so no, but we've been shooting people over to that for years,
That's
and then
true.
I looked at it, and someone was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, is this?"
It's annoying for
Right,
us to be like,
people
hey
laugh.
guys, like this is like day one
I've
stuff.
sat with
like,
clients
load,
and done it
like,
for them.
That's
takes
true.
Do you want a
Right.
phone line
Dude,
here?
it's like
True.
And
any
then
sort of e-commerce stuff. How are you not secured?
We'll get
like,
Fantetti to sue him. Don't worry about it.
Good. We'll sue your ass off.
Okay,
I
I'm
have no
gonna ask-
tracking on it, so I have no proof.
I'm going to ask another question. You know, they always say,
No,
especially
Eric
as
and
a
I were
journalist-
like, we took a breath back here.
yeah, well, especially as a
Ask
journalist, there is
No,
no
please
do.
there is no stupid question, right?
That's correct. There's
Not
This
in
is-
this place.
This is a question though I honestly get all the time.
What's that?
There's so many things that you save on your computer now. So
Okay.
how important is it really to have a paper receipt?
To have a paper receipt?
Yes, like we were even when we were just even talking about the charity, and you know how you said, "Oh, keep the,"
Yeah.
you know, because
Well, yeah.
there's some people that still keep the paper receipts. Is
Yeah.
it important to keep
I
paper
will,
receipts?
but I'll always end up putting them into an electronic form. But there's really two main reasons why I would say you need to keep a receipt. Obviously, the obvious one is what? If you get
Memories,
no.
nostalgia.
Yeah.
If you get audited and you don't have proof somewhere,
Like when I
an
bought
original
Hydrox.
receipt is always the best evidence of anything. If you're trying to get a write-off or trying to take a what's it called? Benefit for a
Mhm.
donation to a charity or something like that, you have to have some type of proof that
so
you've
the
done
original
it.
receipt is
Original
always
receipt's
the-
always the
is
best evidence. It's under the best evidence rule in the rules of evidence. Any real document that is the actual original is always gonna be the best proof of evidence.
The rules of evidence.
Just
I'm going to
think-
quote that.
Just think of this. Anytime you get in the courtroom, the digital part is so far behind for a lot of people to understand.
Yes,
Right. So it's like it's always better to have that
Yeah.
paper proof.
So auditing is obviously important because if you get audited and you try to short the IRS, they're going to come after you. So if you have your receipts, that's always the best rule. Secondly, the other reason would be is if you're contractually required to. So for instance, a lot of businesses that will hire independent contractors or even their own employees who travel a lot, if they want to get a reimbursement for an expense, you have to produce a receipt. So you have to keep receipts and you have to be able to show them because if you're going to reimburse an employee, you have to have the receipt for proof that the business is going to make an expenditure. And then the business's accounting department is thereafter going to go and try to find a write-off for it. So you need to have that proof to do both of those transactions to be proper realized events under the tax code to take a deduction or anything else. So you have to have those receipts. But they don't have to be original. They can be e-scanned. But there's people put in contracts. I've drafted contracts where the client will tell me, no, I want original receipts if they want a reimbursement. So they'll ask for it. So it really just depends on what's bargained. But it's also required because of auditing purposes and for other tax deduction purposes.
How long should you keep an original receipt?
A receipt? I
Yes.
would say just for that.
scrapbook it
I would say for one.
forever.
I would say for 1 to 3 years after the tax year of which you file that they fall in. I think after that, I think you're pretty safe. If they haven't caught anything by then I think you're fine.
I am telling you, there are people that are listening
Yeah.
that are thinking, make sure to ask how long do you keep that receipt. Make sure to ask
Yeah.
how long you keep
If
that
you're
receipt.
if you're
I mean, that's a
organized,
general rule. Sometimes
I just keep it for
well,
5 years is fine. I don't
you
know.
can't. There's contracts that you have to make sure like a lot of people, small businesses, they won't even read that provision. And sometimes they'll sign contracts. They have to keep things for 7 years. And then when they don't,
Yeah.
So
Wow.
That's what I
people
thought the
will
rule
contract
was
you.
when it was like for
Well,
the keep your tax stuff for 7 years.
It just depends. I would say 1 to 3 is always safe because usually an audit would come back to you within that time. But if you're working with a client and you have a long-term relationship, and once that contract ends, like let's say you did business with, someone for 10 years, and then your contract's done after 10, it doesn't get renewed. They might have to have a provision in there that says after, this contract ends, you must keep all records, financial records for 7 years. Because a lot of times there's certain businesses, not every business is the same, but I know this is becoming a big part of business now where a lot of money's being paid up front for certain types of services. And then there's a lot of things that happen where there's chargebacks or overpayments. So they want to come back and recoup. Well, sometimes they're not going to recognize that there was an overpayment or recoupment prospect until a couple of years later. So even
It's
after
like
a contract,
insurance deals with this a lot.
exactly. So
Yeah.
you want to keep a lot of these financial records, receipts, whatever it is, after your contract's done or for several years, so that you can prove and or comply with a contract. Because then if you don't keep them, then you just get sued. And then if you go to court, you have no argument. They're going to say, Judge, we told them to keep records for 5 years. They didn't do it. Okay, and then judge will say, well, why didn't you do it? And you have no answer other than laziness. The judge is just basically going to say, okay, they want $5 million. You don't have records. You owe them $5 million. They're just going to they're going to just use it against you. So you got to do these
two things. Get a file cabinet.
Yeah,
and
Throw
like
your
just be
stuff in it.
organized. I put all paper receipts. I just put them in a Ziploc bag.
but don't even just do that. Make a scanned copy.
I have
first,
a neat. This is
and
my second
then
part.
keep your original.
Nerd
You-
competition.
You cut me off.
It's gonna be nerdier.
Where's my calculator wristwatch?
I'll lose compared to him. No.
Oh shit!
True story. You know it.
Nerds. And then get a neat desk, and you can scan everything.
Sure.
It files it for you.
Yeah.
It automatically. It'll scan the text in there too.
I love it.
Use something like this as well. The Bluetooth
There you go.
pen and notebook.
I agree. You're right. Yep.
Just keep
So
the show
does that
notes.
answer?
Yes,
Yeah.
I am just learning so much
you go.
today.
Yeah,
Gentlemen,
me too.
guys, dudes.
Yeah, dudes, bros, guys.
Gross.
How about this for operating agreements? This is another
Oh,
thing
I
I
love
talked to a
them.
lot of people about.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you love
I
it.
love operating
I
agreements.
love operating agreements.
That's like I love doing burpees, man. I love them.
I love those too.
I'm sure you do. Biggest guns out of an attorney. Look at
Not
this guy's
me.
pythons.
Let's stop
Just
it.
do one of these.
I-
All right,
Telling
so
you, legal superhero.
that's what I said.
Yeah.
Power business attorney. Never misses a leg day. So here's the
Next tomorrow.
operating agreement.
Yeah.
So he is my neighbor, by the way. This is how we met.
Yeah.
And I would be like, look at me getting up at 6, hitting the gym, and he's running back from a 2-hour session. Like I'm like,
That's the only time I can work out.
But
though,
I'm
is
patting
4:50
myself.
in the morning.
Well, that's
Otherwise
what
I won't
Eric
get
does
it.
Yeah,
too.
me too,
Yeah,
man.
that's it. If
I
don't
don't
do
like
it then,
people
I won't
around.
do
Get
it.
away from me.
But when you're like hungover and you're like just like, oh, I got to get up and walk the dog, and he's running back, like, what's up, man? What's up? Been up since 3.
Great day, bro.
It's a
Great day.
Been
Maxing
dictating,
out.
Big smiles. Let's get after it today, buddy.
dictating some contracts and just running 5 miles. What are you doing now? Huh? I went to bed at 3.
Think I peed in my pants.
Yeah.
You're probably having more fun than me, though.
Smell like
All right,
pee.
so what's your operating agreement question?
Well, I know. I mean, you've talked to me a lot about. All right, how about just for a lot of people out there, 50-50 partnerships? They don't really work for one reason.
What is
Operating agreements need the straw vote, and one person needs to
Exactly.
be the majority vote on that.
Deadlock issues.
Yep.
You got it. Control issues.
So it's not really a question. As I'll just give you that, and just you can vamp.
Yeah, well, tell me, because if you were going somewhere and you didn't get a chance to
No.
explain it, feel free to
That was it.
interject.
It's
Yeah.
worth reiterating.
Yeah,
You've been on the
people-
show and talked
yeah,
about it before,
sure.
but I feel like I talked to a lot of people about this. And when I used to do the thing called Fuck Up Nights, I used to host that.
That's a big one to talk about because people will go into business, especially friends, and say, yeah, we're going to be 50-50, man. It's
Yep.
going to be great. I'm like, okay, maybe for revenue share,
Right.
but don't say 50-50 for everything.
Right. It doesn't
Because
work.
then, yeah, if you have to agree and vote, you're just going to be deadlocked every time.
Right.
So there's got to be some mechanism in place, which if you just download a very generic operating agreement off the internet, this is why you need a lawyer, you're not going to get the tailored provisions you
Yep.
need to help you get through those type of rough patches that a business will go through because they're not drafted that way generically when you find them. You have to tailor them to whatever the situation is, who the owners are, etc.
And by the way, when you have let's say you have a 50-50 partnership, you need to decide who's going to be the person that has to make the decision if you guys lock.
Correct.
People think it's better to be the one that makes the decision.
It's not.
It sucks.
No.
It's
It's
actually
not.
way worse because
No.
everything falls on you if it
Yeah.
fucks up.
So here's 3 rules I tell people, and I'll draft them this way too to help them, because what you don't want to do is this. You don't want to stagnate business development, which means if you have to vote on every single thing, you'll get nothing done.
Right.
And a lot of
gotta
times
be
you're not in the
agile.
same place. Yeah. So one of the ways you do it is you will both, like for instance, if it's an LLC, LLCs have managers. So if it's a manager-managed LLC, which means that the people who are identified as managers
It's like
run the
Mr.
business,
Mhm.
they are the
Manager,
ones that
managers?
make
Mr.
all
Manager.
they're the ones that make all the decisions. So what you can do is you can say, well, look, each of us have strengths.
Yep.
So I'll make the decisions on this list, and you create lists in the operating agreement. So A, B, C, D, and E,
Right.
right? And then the other person will make the other decisions that are tailored to these areas.
Yep.
Secondly, you can say if it's an expenditure under $1,000, we don't need consent from each other.
Yeah.
Something
You
like that is your
make a
second way.
threshold. Make something where
Exactly.
you don't have to go, hey, I'm spending $20 over here. Is
Exactly.
that
Do I
okay?
have to get a vote or can I
I
get
need to get a book of
consent?
stamps at Publix.
Exactly.
Is that cool?
If it's a reasonable, necessary business expense to continue the operation of the business, is how I would generally define it, then you do not need to go back and forth.
Right.
Now, the third method to assist with this problem, in addition to the other 2 I just named, is you can set up language in the agreement that basically states, here's what we will have to vote on together. And if there's only an even number of people in your business, 2, 4, 6, and you end up like, if it's 6 people, 3 and 3, you're not going to pass a vote. So what you could obviously, number one, mandate majority voting. Okay. Or 2, if you have even numbers and there's a deadlock on the vote, you can point to name a third party individual outside, uninterested to the business, that you trust will make a good business call for you to break that tie, and then that's the decision that's going to carry the day in the event that you guys can't agree. And sometimes that's a better way, because if you let someone in the business do it, then you're going to create a lot more resentment, and your business isn't going to be as as free from disputes as you'd like internally. But if you guys all have agreed on this third party, and that third party makes that decision, you guys say, you know what, we agreed that we would ride or die with that decision when it's made. Let's go operate and see how this works. Then usually everybody's kind of more on board, because they don't feel like one person in the business is getting an advantage or has more control than the others.
Yep.
So that other way, that deadlock dispute provision, when you point that third party and you lay out the process about how fast they have to give you an answer and what it's got to be based upon, you got to draft the specifics in that provision, and then that will help you get around those issues that you talked about for 50-50 ownership.
And
so those 3 schools.
This is why you're Will Ferrell and old school at the debate.
Oh yeah,
you're like,
when he just went off with James
blacks out,
Carville.
you're like,
Yeah, he blacks out.
Christ.
James
How do you
Carville
just
said-
reel this off?
James Carville's like, I have nothing. That
Your
was
wealth
perfect.
of knowledge. We gotta close it out because you got a hard out. I got a hard out.
I got 5 more minutes if you want.
You got 5 more minutes.
Let's do
Anybody
it.
else?
I got nothing going
I don't have to go play tennis, but I got to make
Really?
eggplant parmesan
I've-
right now.
Wait,
I'm cooking
wait.
tonight, my wife and I.
Wait,
That's a fantastic-
Eggplant lasagna.
Serena's
Wait,
head's
wait,
gonna explode.
Oh
Do you
my
cook
God.
too?
Oh my
I love
God.
it. Not as often as I want.
Okay, so hold on. So tonight you guys are making eggplant parmesan together.
My wife and I, yeah. We're
That
gonna
is-
cook.
Power-
Yeah.
that-
Power couple, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
cook.
adorable, and she's an attorney as well.
She is, yeah.
Now, are you guys
Do you sit there and argue?
in business together?
You gonna put that much
No,
in
we're
there?
not. We completely do different areas of law. We will
Oh,
see each other in practice.
that-
We make sure of it on purpose.
That reminds me. A lot of people
She
think.
hates business law, and I
A
hate
lo-
insurance law.
Well, a lot of people think they have an
Hate it.
attorney, and
Yeah.
they don't realize the segments of having an attorney, right?
Exactly. I get
And
questions
that's
about
so crazy
yes.
to me, right?
I'll get criminal questions, family. I'm like, I'm not the right guy, man. I'm like, I'm pretty. I
That's
consider
a
myself
whole
to be pretty
other
smart,
sector
but I don't
that
act like I know everything.
You
I
have to
just-
get. People
yeah.
go, well, they go, well, my attorney's hitting it up, and I'll go, what do they do? And they go, well, they're residential real estate. And they're like, why are they drafting that up for you?
I know.
You need to talk to a business
No,
attorney.
it's true.
And this is what drives me nuts. They'll go,
Yeah.
yeah. And I just know, I know, like, that means I'm not going to go listen to what you just said, even though
No, I'm gonna do it in spite of you.
Right,
I'm
right.
not gonna do
I'm
it.
not going to go. I'm
Right.
not. I'm not even
Try
going
and
to look
tell me
into
what
it.
to do.
I'm not even going to call. Maybe I should call 3
Yeah.
That's the other thing. When you get a contractor for your house, you should call 3 and take the middle bid, right?
Maybe.
Usually,
Look at
rule
their
of thumb.
performance.
Rule of
Well,
thumb.
Yeah, that's one part of it.
Well, the
I
good
didn't-
ones are always booked, right? The
Yeah.
expensive ones are always booked.
Sure.
The shitty ones are always there, so you take the middle one. It's a good rule of thumb.
I mean, that sounds fine.
All right, but people don't shop around for attorneys either, and it's
No.
really strange. They call the first one. The close rate on attorneys, because we do a lot of law firm marketing, is
Yeah.
like 90 to 95%. Like, and most of that's just because they might not have a case.
Right.
Is why the attorneys don't close. I think it's so crazy that people, and look, I was this way too. I didn't know any better, but
Mhm.
when you call, you don't have to take the first attorney you call on the phone.
Absolutely not.
Like, people should call around and go, is this person going to be available to answer my questions?
Yep.
Explain it like you do for me, where you're like, all right, I got to explain it to a
Gets
touch
the
kid.
Legos out.
Like,
Yeah.
how's this? Yeah.
But it's not just.
we're the magic markers.
Yeah, I would say don't just get an attorney though who's explaining something to you. You want an attorney who, at the end of the day, when
mean
they give you
executioner.
advice, well, no, but they're going to give you options.
Big
You have to give your
hand.
client. You're not supposed to make your client's decisions for them, but you want to lead them to a way where they have
Right.
different options,
Yeah.
so they can pick the avenue that they know is the best now, but they didn't know before they spoke with you. So
Yeah.
that's one of the most important things. But the other part of it, and I think you would attest to this too, is a lot of people get their lawyers through referrals, through friends or
Sure.
people they know who were done right by a lawyer, and they recommend that person.
Yeah.
So that's another way. So if you don't just want to go online and take a look, the other way you can do it, obviously, is find people you know who are in business, friends of yours who operate businesses, whatever, and see who they've used, and sometimes that helps.
Yeah.
Because there's a pattern. If lawyers have done good to several people, then clearly they're somebody you can
But
trust.
just because a guy got you from a DUI to reckless doesn't mean he can do your fucking LLC. is
No,
what I'm
that's
saying.
true. Because
You know?
the law,
He's great.
the law
He's not a magic
discipline.
man for the whole legal
Yeah.
system.
It's a lot of referrals. I'll have people call me. This lawyer would say, "Steve, can you take this case? I represented so and so in a DUI,
right.
but now he wants to create a business, and I don't know what to do." So
For y'all on
there's
a legal marketing, you have to. If any lawyers are listening to this, I would say you know most, if not all, your marketing. For a lot of them, it comes through the what I call referral buddies. You should have a power group of guys that
oh yeah,
each one of y'all has a segment of the law and just refers back and forth.
I got a Rolodex for certain areas of
Right.
law that I do not practice, but I know who to go to give my client. Like I have clients I'll do business for, and they'll say, "Can you file this patent?" But absolutely not, but I know someone who can.
Right.
But I just did their part of their business law. I just negotiated a contract for them to buy some goods somewhere, and we negotiate the contract. It's done. Now they want to do a next step. But
You're
I don't,
Armenian, you get arrested, you're calling Mark Garagos, bro.
Yeah. I
You're
don't.
Jesse
yeah,
Smollett,
that's
you
it.
call Mark Garagos.
Smollett needs a lot more help than that. But I don't.
You
yeah.
Chris Brown,
But
you're calling Garagos.
no lawyer should just take something just because they want the money and they think they can do it. You really have to be competent enough in that area. You should not be wasting your client's time, money, or taking risks with people's business.
But people do, man.
They do. Oh, lawyers
Because
do it. I've
are-
seen it.
Lawyers can be just as bad at business.
They
when
get
I
cocky too.
when I talk to them, I go, "You're
Yeah.
businessman first, lawyer second,"
Mm.
just to see how they take that.
Yeah, which is smart. You're supposed to. Obviously, if you're doing business law, you have to think about the business end, and sometimes attorneys don't. But you have to look at the duality of it, because any legal decision you make will have an impact on the business. Any business decision you make will have legal consequences. So they're intertwined. It's
Just
not
like
even
the
as
Dark Knight.
binary as
Mhm.
people think. Yeah. So.
Exactly.
What? Just like the Dark Knight.
The
Is that what
duality
you
of
said?
man. Yeah.
What? Oh,
That's what
Duality.
that's what the movie's about.
You guys-
It's good versus evil, guys.
Sure.
Come on.
I know.
You guys
That's
didn't
what the
get that?
character Two-Face is about.
All right. Any,
Well,
You want
no.
to get even
any
more
other
specific?
topic?
Oh no, actually no.
Well, he's right in the middle. Yeah. yeah.
Any other topic you want to discuss about or ask about before we bounce out?
I don't know. I got what I wanted.
Believe me, we could probably go another hour, but you have
Yeah.
to go make eggplant parmesan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
Right.
that's as good a time as any, huh?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
What about
Thank
my
you.
sweat equity?
SweatEquityPod.com.
Sweat equity. Sweat equity. My sweat equity.
So
My sweat equity.
yeah, I loved it.
Out of here.
What about my sweat equity?